Okay, I am back and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. This is Sandy Shellis. I just returned from a trip that caused me a lot of issues because I had to fly. But that's not what this is about. This is about having kids in this day and age. This is about this organization, BirthStrike, that I found. This is about people and how they feel about this topic because it is a really heated topic, especially when you talk about to people who are already parents. I have a 30-year-old. uh, I have friends with kids. We have lots of people that have kids that are understanding of abrupt climate change and climate change. And it's not something personally I would ever say to somebody, you're a fucking idiot. Oop, sorry, you're an idiot for having kids. I'm not going to do that. That's not my nature to tell someone how to do things or how to be, except for maybe my husband. Um, anyway, thanks for joining. So, what I want to start with is it was an article on the BBC News. And because I'm using this YouTube, I don't know how to put up screens yet. So it was on BirthStrike, and it was a little video, but it garnered a lot of discussion on the Facebook page. And I thought, here we are, I want to talk about this, but I want to use YouTube. And hi, Warren. He says, Happy International Women's Day. Cheers. All right. I forgot about that. But anyway, the article was I won't have children because of climate change. And boy, I mean, there was some contentious things going on. And Vegematics with us back. Cool. All right. So it was really something. I'm going to give you a couple of the comments because it was just so telling. Here, let me get this off. And again, I'm not going to tell anybody what they should do and what they shouldn't do. I would just never do that. Wait, what does Robin say? Okay. So anyway, there was nice discussion, but then we had a troll, and I actually banned somebody from the Facebook group page. And I don't usually ban people because typically when we have these things, we all have discussions, and that's what I foster. But the bigger that page gets, the more trolly it's getting, or deniers are coming on and they're starting to argue. And when it's an argument, it's not it's not a discussion that's going to reap any kind of anything. It's just going to be ugly. We had one woman come on and she said, instead of being afraid of this, she says, if you should be afraid of anything, it's not really climate change. Now, here's the one. It's legally murdering newborn babies, pedophiles trying for rights, racism and terrorism, and wondering if you're using the right pronoun in order not to offend someone. Pretty sure these are much more scary for a child to have to go through than climate change. So that I wrote back as the editor because there are other editors, and I don't do all everything on that page. Thank God I don't. I can't. I mean, I'm a pretty messed up person, I'm a disabled person. I can't do all those things I used to do. So anyway, I just put to her, wait a few years. That was my only comment. So she says back to me, I understand the threat of climate change, but that should not be the only reason you don't want to have kids. By ignoring all the other things I've said, now this is where it gets good, goes to show you're probably in support of those terrible things. So basically, I'm in support of legally murdering newborn babies, which no one does that. So you know that she's already giving that abortion bullshit BS. Pedophiles trying for rights. What? NAMBLA? The what is it? The National Association of Man-Boy Love Association. That is ridiculous. Okay, that's never going to happen. Racism and terrorism, of course. where does that come into this? Racism, where did it even come into this, right? So she's kind of trolly, but I didn't ban her because I want to see where it goes. And somebody else says to her, "Your statement speaks for itself." And another woman got like really into it. She goes, "Your statement shows everybody that you have no effing understanding about the threat of climate change. It also shows that you are an ignorant and lack of basic understanding about the issues that you so insanely listed, but hey, whatever floats your boat." So, I'm trying to figure out if this one is a troll, because I did go on to look at her Facebook, and all it is her in bathing suits, and she's won this and won that or whatever. Fine. Even gorgeous women can be, smart and understand things, but we know there's something wrong with this one. Excuse me, doing my little relief thing here. So she comes back, right? The one with I'll call her TNA. TNA comes back and she says, "Oh, I have a great understanding of climate change. The earth has been a constantly changing environment." Oh, there it's going. Here it goes. "It is true that humans are destroying the planet at a rapid pace, but do you think that's the only reason why women shouldn't want to have children?" And then she talks about to the other one, and then she puts on this NASA climate change evidence. How do we know? Some other dude says, "Oh, well said." I don't know what she said that was well said, unless he's just another one on the right side of things. But it was really funny, like. And I find it interesting that so many people are taking interest in the Facebook page, because there's 10,200 likes and over 10,500 followers. And, half the time I just honestly, about the Facebook page, I get overwhelmed and I don't feel good. And I say, I just don't want it. But people come every day, and you get used to the names and the, people that work with me and volunteer their time, because nobody's making any money on this thing. But anyway, so I'm going to go into the article that another person put up, and I thought it was good. He said, "The moral choice. The greatest impact individuals can have in fighting climate change is to have one fewer child, according to a new study that identifies the most effective ways people can cut their carbon emissions." And it was from The Guardian. So I thought I would maybe just segue into The Guardian a little bit on this, and then we'll look at your stuff, because I'm a little on a roll. And I'll tell you the truth, I was in a mood earlier. I mean, a mood of just a mood. You just get into those moods. But so this was an article from 2017. And there's my professional way of showing you. It was actually about a study. We probably even put this on Environmental Coffee House back then. The new study, it was published in Environmental Research Letters, and it set out the impact of different actions on a comparable basis. By far, the biggest ultimate impact is having one fewer child, which the researchers calculated equated to a reduction of 58 tons of CO2 for each year of a parent's life. And they talked about how they calculated that data, and they said carbon emissions must fall to 2 tons of CO2 per person by 2050 to avoid severe global warming. Now, that was in 2017. So things have gotten, pretty exponentially worse. We know that, right? But the article was called "Want to Fight Climate Change, Have Fewer Children." And then it was the next best actions are selling your car, avoiding flights, and going vegetarian, according to study into true impacts of different green lifestyle choices. Now, I'm not going to read this whole one, because I really want to read you the Facebook page of BirthStrike, which is, they have a Facebook page and they have a declaration. I tried to join, but I'm not in it yet. They didn't accept me yet, They will. One more, overpopulation has been a controversial factor in the climate change debate, with some pointing out that that an American is responsible for 40 times the emissions produced by a Bangladeshi, and that overconsumption is the crucial issue. Duh. I mean, come on, we all know that. I'm sitting here over consuming coffee. Coming back from a trip and having to do everything. And, it's going to take me forever because that's just how it is. I'm slow. And I'm looking at everything going, oh my God, I'd rather just talk to my friends out there, you guys. And because this really bothered me, when I started reading the comments on the Facebook page. So what we're really going to do to keep this from going forever, and I'll put these links up. I always say that. I won't forget. I'll try not to forget this time, is the Facebook page. It is called BirthStrike. And I put in a thing and it says, welcome to BirthStrike, the Facebook group where we can discuss in private ideas, words, and experiences in activism. Let this group be a place for respect and compassion shown between all despite healthy disagreement and agreement. I like that too for ours. I don't let people typically be ignorant. Now today I was ignorant on that page on Facebook because that other troll that I didn't even read to you, not the female, and then I deleted it all and banned him. He said, "Oh, banning people with a different opinion really shows you're open," or some crap like that. But the thing was, it wasn't that. This person was a rampant denier. There is no talking to that person because that person's coming in to try to force everybody to, to have that state of mind, have that frame of reference. They're not coming in to learn anything. They're coming in to argue. Goodbye. Declaration for BirthStrike. We, the undersigned, declare our decision not to bear children due to the severity of the ecological crisis and the current inaction of governing forces in the face of this existential threat. Insecurity of future, despair at our species' relationship to habitat and each other, channeling time into activism and rebellion are all common motivations. To find out more about why we are making these often very difficult decisions, please see our tweets, watch our videos, and read our statements below, which I think I'll follow them on Twitter because, you know what? I like it, personally. I had one. That was it. And that was back in the day, I farted out one kid and said, I'm never doing this again. Although I love her, but I worry about her. And at 30, yeah, she's a grown-up, but I still worry. And most of the reason why I think I live where I live is so she has a safe place to come for the 15 minutes we might have if something terrible happened. All right. So what do we stand for? BirthStrike shows how the threat of ecological disaster is altering the way we imagine our future. It is a radical acknowledgement that our planet has entered a sixth mass extinction event due to man-made impacts on the environment. BirthStrike stands in solidarity with the environmental justice movement, the academic and scientific community who are encouraging acts of rebellion and widespread system change in order to urgently save our future. BirthStrike stands for fast acting and deep change towards an equality-based, sustainable, caring, and nonviolent future for humans and between all life on Earth. Now, they said some terms on inclusivity. BirthStrike stands in compassionate solidarity with all parents, celebrates their choice, and doesn't seek to judge anyone intending to bear children, or who has, like me. I don't judge. BirthStrike disagrees with prioritizing population control over system in regards to tackling the environmental crisis, disagrees with any enforced population control measures, and recognizes the colonial violence of such measures having been proposed in the past and present. And by adult, we do mean typical age of attaining legal adulthood, which is 18 years old. So it's a voluntary group. And I would not read any private stuff in the group if I got in it anyway, even without giving names. But they have videos. They have a YouTube. There's only a couple. Um, but I think I'll, get involved. Of course, for me, at my age and all, it's not it's not a choice. The choice we have is whether to get a dog, and I don't want a dog, and my husband wants a dog, and I can't handle a dog because he's going to go to work at night, and then I'm going to be having to do all the work, and I have the 5 cats, so I'll donate to the SPCA instead. So let's look at some of your comments. I can't really talk very loud. That was another whole deal about this whole thing with my voice. We've got James Michael Campbell, who's with us, and Robin and Veg and Stephen Davidson. And this is nice. Thanks, because it was really on my mind when I read this and how people were getting so upset over this. Like, but I'm interested to see how that one woman comes out, because I have a feeling she's one that's going to say that, oh yeah, the laws, they want to be able to, like, people spit out a baby and just kill it. Those the right to lifers. Hi, Eric. You're in Portland. You're 42. You have no kids. Stephen has no kids. Veg. Trish and I lived without a car for 2 decades, the 80s and 90s. Vegetarian, no kids, and trying to leave a tiny footprint. Frustrated that we were ridiculed for your lifestyle. I got to make a comment about that. I worked with a woman forever, and she was an executive where I worked. She had a higher position than I did, and she had no children, and she and her husband had the best life. All of us with kids, when my kid was little and I was in my career, it was difficult. They're, going places and doing things, and we're sitting here trying to figure out who the hell is going to be at the house when I get home from work, having band practice and smoking dope in the basement. So they didn't have any of that stress. And I always thought everybody I knew that didn't have kids, they were happier. They were happier. And I don't know if it's that or what, maybe it could have been my life. It could have been who I was married to with, my daughter's father. It could have been any number of things, but I looked at, and I saw a lot of people that didn't have kids who had infinitely happier lives because they didn't have all the complications of kids, of course, like I said, I'm not going to tell anybody. Robin, I'm not reading what you said. And Adam's here, Adam Thomas. Okay, let's go into this. Robin said, all right, population overshoot is at the root of the problems. It won't be corrected gently, voluntarily, and so will be corrected harshly, involuntarily, by natural forces. Well, and Robin, you're saying natural forces by abrupt climate change, things that are happening, like, only 23, it sounds like nothing died in Alabama, but these things are just heightening and heightening. Is that, I hope that's what you're talking about. You're not going to talk about the whole Agenda 21 and all that crap, because I don't go there. Let's see. So Robin, and then Warren said, check out the new mini-me nukes rolling off the assembly line now that intermediate treaty is in the shitter. Oh, okay. I guess you guys are really getting into more things than I saw. Puppies and kittens are much cuter than human baby animals, Steven says. Well, they are, but you still got to go to the vet, and you still got to take care of them and love them and have the time. Hey, Phosphorus 72. Hello, Sandy and all. Nope, no kids here, no car, walk to work. But I'm a meat lover with a little veggies. But many people still want kids and deny there's any problem out there. And oh my God, Chris is here. The natural progressive. She said, I'm late. I have to drive. Okay, you can drive while you're listening. I do it too. And Marsha's here. And she said, I can't understand why anybody would start choosing to have kids right now. Well, because we are awake doesn't mean everybody else is. And My trip to Florida really solidified that we are a mess. Um, it is just being built up and built up and built up. And I've been saying on everybody's comment sections that it's the crane state and it's not the bird, you know? Uh, I really do understand. But Chris, I'm glad you're here. I'm just going to give her a plug. The Natural Progressive. She's been doing interviews. She interviewed Guy. She's doing great. It's nice to have another female down here. I don't know if she's, technically we say down here in the Doomosphere. It's nice to have another female. Her voice is cool. So, go over and see Chris at the Natural Progressive because you can't have too many voices. You can't have too many people talking about these things. So anyway, yeah, Veg, he said he had a blast. See, having no kids. No kids. Well, for me, I'm going to end it. We got a lot of people here, though, unless anybody wants to have a discussion on anything else with this, because I know that I will give you a little story, a little quick one. When I was doing, I think it was 2017 when I had Hambone on as my guest, Hambone Littletail, now Sam Mitchell, Collapse Chronicles, and he talked about overpopulation. This a couple of years ago. He freaked out people. It was live and it was on ECH on Facebook. He freaked out people who said there is no problem with overpopulation and that's all the elite just trying to get rid of people and, all this other stuff. And it really opened a can of worms. But all I was trying to say was I learned about this in grade school. It was a problem. I learned about overpopulation from Ehrlich. I learned in second grade, And people were freaking out. I guess it was one of the first times I really understood that there was this whole movement of people that are saying that, they are killing us by all these methods. So I was I guess I had my head up my butt. I don't know. I've since researched a lot of those things. And that's not what we're going to talk about here, but it was interesting because Hambone was it was an interview. It was a good interview, but it really was contentious. And on a Sunday afternoon, people were like, "Oh my God, this is the topic you're talking about, overpopulation and all these terrible things." I'm thinking, wow. And now, 2 years later, when we were talking about it, trying to get it out there, now it's everywhere and nobody says that. I mean, I've only had one person say something to me one time on Facebook, and she told me my page makes her feel like going and slitting her wrists, and she left. Not that we all don't understand that. Not that we would do it. And Veg says Florida will be underwater soon. And Marcia, you're saying we have so much development going on. Hubby calls each destruction of natural woods an abortion. It's terrible what you see. And I just watched saw everything going on in Florida. And wow. Phosphorus says so many women I know are still signing up for IVF. Age spans from 35 to 45. They're not paying attention. No, they're not. Because they're probably, they're just maybe like I used to be before I woke up. Half awake, working, thinking that's what you want, or you need a legacy, or you need to have that person that you think is going to take care of you in your old age. Old age. There's a relative thing, right? Anyhow, listen, guys, thanks for coming. This was a good one. Again, don't put anybody down for their decisions. We can discuss decisions like what Phosphorus just brought up. We can talk about others, but in ways where we don't understand. But people are, white people are having kids, but not everybody's like us, understanding, and that's our job. Talk to the next one. And we can do that. And I do it. And I do it in the doctor's office, and there was a little old lady sitting in the doctor's office next to me in Florida. And I mentioned something about climate change. I don't know how it came up, and she went off and told me everything, and it was cool as hell because she was aware. So it's happening, guys. People are starting to understand. And so maybe, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's too late. I'm not going to sit here and say anything about timing or when, the shit goes to hit the fan, when the blue ocean event is. Other people do that. And hey, Big Surreal, veggie since 1969, lived off the grid for many years in the 70s. No kids till I was 48. Oops, but very much loved. But you know what? Very much loved is also giving them skills and tools for the future. And that's a whole other live stream we can go into, how schools around the world really need to be giving, especially in Western states, countries have to be giving kids tools. If there's going to be kids, they need the tools to sustain or at least be able to not be so traumatized and get their heads out of these things constantly and learn how to do stuff, like we do out here. Hi, Marcia W. I hope to live to see the next strong El Nino. It's going to be a whopper. Yep. We got front row seats. Front row seats. All right, listen, I'm going to go because the longer I stay, nobody will watch it later. Oh, gosh, and all these comments are so good. Canada, the government spends billions on fertility treatments. Yeah, it is insane. It kind of is. And Phosphorus said, I'm here in Canada with you. It pisses me off that we're covering that. It should be pay as you go or out of your own pocket. Holy crap. Well, listen, guys, I love you all, but it's time to go. I am really happy with my maiden voyage on my MacBook Pro that I bought so long ago to do this on YouTube, and I didn't need to use the OBS, but whoever wants to teach me how, Vegematic, Max from Finland, it's time I need to learn. Okay, peace. Bye, everybody. Have a great afternoon, and it's Friday. So wherever you are in the world, enjoy your Friday. And I have to clean up. That's my Friday. Bye.